Welcome to KF&JF Podcast. I'm Denny T, Keepin in Tune. And today, I'm going to have a guest today. But before we get started, Corporal Bear is going to call y'all to attention. Are you ready? Attention! Thank you, Corporal Bear. Sit down. Today I have one of my best and greatest friends from way back. Fellow musician. Wait, you need Eddie, sir. Oh, I guess he had too much to drink last night. Fellow musician, a friend, and family. I'd like to introduce to you today my best friend, John Bowman. And John is a fellow Marine, as I was too. Once a Marine, always a Marine, I should say. But anyway, John and I go way back in the 70s, when I first came in the Corps, to the 80s, and all up to now. Now, today, before we get started, I want to say one thing. Life is short. We all know that. And on top of that, one of my other friends, which was my mentor, this show is dedicated to our friends and family, or anyone who has that spot of being a father figure, a mentor. On the 15th of June this year, my long friend from way back, Charles Butler, passed away. Charles Butler died at age 92. I first met Charles when I was a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps in the 70s, where I was playing in a band, and Charles set in with the band that I was playing with, which was my band, and he made an impression. And in life, keeping in tune means making an impression. This man shaped my life. I would not be where I am today. Life of this world, of what we have going on, he guided me. He also guided me through my music. I didn't know a note when I first met him. I didn't know how to do anything as far as the music world. But today, I'm honoring Mr. Charles Butler. Now, like I said, Father's Day just passed. All you dads out there, I know you're probably looking up at me and saying, what am I talking about? It's all about that. We're all fathers or something of that nature. Now, John and I, we met back in Okinawa, 1980. Was it 80? 80 and 79. But okay, you know what? Let me tell you. John's gonna tell you. Anybody here from New York? All my New York people out there? Go Knicks, right? Okay. John, tell you about yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go back. Oh, I'm going way back now. Yeah. Well, I'm a Harlem-born and raised boy. Okay, that's where I grew up. I had an interesting life as a young man, as a young boy. Yeah, my father and my mother had me when they were 16 and 17 years old, so they were very young, And my dad, he joined the service, to take care of his family.
Was it
Air Force?
Air Force.
Yeah,
okay.
he was Air Force. Right. We forgive him for that.
Okay.
But
well, my dad was Marine, so I know. But anyway,
right.
Go ahead.
We always say that.
We know what that
Marines
means.
Always say
That's right.
Forgive him.
Learn that discipline. That's right.
Right. But anyways, yeah. So, but I grew up with a lot of relatives, aunts, grandmas, that sort of thing, because they were very young, and they didn't stay together, But I did have a great life. I lived with aunts and grandmas and stuff like that on both sides.
You know what?
They were musicians.
Musicians.
Yeah.
You said grandma, right?
Grandma
always takes care of business. Grandma
Yeah. We had a piano in the house, and what I understand from my relatives, that's how I started banging on the piano.
Oh.
As a little youngster, you know, banging on the piano. But anyways, my mom and my grandmother were in entertainment, and that's why I had bringing some photos into the show.
Entertainment.
My grandmother, she sang with Basie.
Count Basie.
That's right. When she was 17 years old. And my mother and my grandmother.
Tell people who Count Basie.
Yeah, Count Basie is the great Count Basie band leader. Okay,
was
a big band leader and had a lot of famous musicians that played in Basie's band.
One of the greatest musicians around, right?
Yeah.
Count Basie in the 40s. That's right. There you go.
In the 40s. And she sang with some other, Benny Hoffman, some other musicians. I have some photos.
Wow.
That I kept, old photos when she was young and singing. And my mother and my grandmother, they used to sing for the black USO.
Ah.
Black soldiers, black military men. You know, I have some pictures
of them. That's
in
those days,
yeah. They sang and danced, and I understand that my aunt had a club in Milwaukee also. My grandmother's on my mother's side.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we had a lot of music. I grew up in music, and my dad bought me a trumpet. I lived with him down in the Village in New York City, down there in the East Village. I was on 4th Street. That's where I got my musical education.
So one thing, why didn't you stay with the trumpet?
Yeah, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it like I wanted to. I just played it for a while, went to trumpet, and then I wanted to play reeds.
Okay,
I wanted to play reeds, you know. I liked the sound. I didn't like the feel of the trumpet on my lips. Yeah. I didn't like the sound, but I was good. I was in the band. I did that for a while. But then I switched to reeds, and I switched to, I met, my father knew a lot of musicians. He was a freelance percussionist, and I met a lot of musicians when I lived down there in the Village. He used to take me to rehearsals and to see Sun Ra and a lot of other musicians down there.
Sound like you had a very, very good life of where you were around a lot of
music, a lot of musicians.
I'm going to elaborate on that. What he just said. Growing up in a family of love and music, you can't get no better than that.
That's right.
I remember my dad was teaching me the guitar. He told me, "Don't come out of that room until you get it right," and you got to have a love for that. Now, his love was instilled by a musical family, you know, and and they were professional, so that definitely set the bar pretty high.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So since you're not playing the trumpet now, he now plays the.
I play sax now. I picked up clarinet first. I met my father introduced me to a saxophone player that lived down there. His name was Bill Barron, not any relation to Kenny Barron, which I found out later he wasn't. But he was a saxophone player in the area down there, and he started me on clarinet. He was a saxophone player, and he said that you start on this, and then you can pick up the sax.
So you play in your high school?
Yeah, I played in the middle school and in high school, and switched to sax in high school, clarinet and saxophone.
Wow.
In high school, yeah. And while I was in high school, I met some other musicians that were around there in New York. Renee McLean, I grew up with him. John Saxton. Renee McLean was a son of Jackie McLean. I met him in Clark Terry's youth band. I was in Clark Terry's youth band at 17, 18 years old.
Tell the listeners who Clark Terry was as a trumpet player.
That's right. Clark was a trumpet player, and he had we had the studio on 125th Street. Up in the loft on 125th Street, and I met Renee and got on Clark's band through a friend of mine I met while I was working after school at New York Telephone Company,
Oh.
and I met a drummer named Pierre Lawrence, and I've been trying to find him and still haven't. I'm looking on Facebook.
Pierre, if you're listening, make sure you contact the KF
and I think he was from
JF
France, so he
show.
probably went back to France, you know. But I met him,
okay.
and he introduced me to Clark, Terry Hughes Band, and Renee McLean, John Saxton, all these guys, and you know, and
well, you know,
so,
now everyone listening, this is what I'm talking about. This is the foundation of keeping in tune in life, meaning that you pursue something and you do it with your heart, with the passion. The passion was already there because he probably inherited it from his family, but this is what I'm talking about. So now let's talk about go a little more now.
Mm-hmm.
As we are fellow Marines, how did you get into the Marine Corps a marching band and
okay,
yeah.
This is how it happened. I was a senior at SUNY Binghamton, Harper College.
Uh-huh.
I followed my my high school sweetheart. She went there, and and I got a scholarship there. It was upstate New York, and we got pregnant. Okay.
Must have been the water.
This is about 1973. I'm telling my age.
Okay.
But anyways, so I followed her there and majored in music ed.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I was we got pregnant in my senior year. Okay,
Whoa.
it was
and what the recruiter called you, right?
Yeah. So I said, hey, it's time. I got to take care of my family
Right.
and everything. I dropped out my senior year and joined the Marine Corps at the AFES in Syracuse, New York.
Wow.
You know, yeah. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you, Denny, I tried the Air Force and I made it. I made it, but they had a waiting list. And, you know, I was trying to keep from going to Vietnam right away.
We are Vietnam era. Now, I'm going to elaborate what he just said.
Yeah, but so I joined the Marine Corps because there was a waiting list, and I had a low, what they call lottery number. You know, we had those lottery numbers at that time, remember?
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember those days. I want to elaborate on what he just said. You know, when I joined the Corps as well, you know, I was playing guitar and all that stuff, but I never got into the music field like he did. But right now, before we get started here, we're gonna have to wait just a minute. Corporal Bear said something here.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Oh, is it time for a break?
Uh-oh.
We gotta take a break already, Corporal? Are you sure of that? Don't tell me no lie, Corporal. Okay, the backbone of the Corps is a corporal in the Marine Corps. By the way, we're gonna come back. We'll be right back. We're gonna get into some more things. But one more time, I had the wonderful Mr. John Bowman, right, in the flesh. A good friend of mine. We go back. We're gonna talk about some more. Well, you are now listening to KF and JF podcast. Keep it in tune. Denny T.
Hey, it's Brent with Poppin' Wine Tours. Come out and join us 7 days a week. We got the best wine tour in town. All your tastings are covered. 17, 18 tastings, all of them are free. You get a driver, you get a guide. It's the best time in town. So come on out and join us today.
some of y'all didn't come back from your break, but you know what? You're gonna miss out if you did. Anyway, this is Denny T. Keep it tuned. KF&JF podcast. One more time, and you know what? I have John Bowman gonna tell me some more. You know, history of your life and your music and where you are today means a lot to everyone. Once you start on that journey and that love is there, you hit that first note, and it gets you right here. Now, John was telling me about he had a family before he joined the Corps, and he was going to join the Air Force, but the Air Force had a waiting list. So John joined
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. Oh, all right, take it from there, Sergeant. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go tell me about it.
Joined the Marine Corps. Okay, so I my first duty station was Camp Lejeune.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yes.
Camp Lejeune, and I was stationed with the second. Second Force Recon Battalion.
Now, say that again. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know what a recon is. Tell what that means.
Well, recon, I passed the swimming qual in boot camp, and in fact, I was a lifeguard while I was in high school in New York. At Coney Island,
Yeah.
So that's I was an athlete too. But I had gotten a few scholarships, Morehouse, Johnson C. Smith, but I decided to go to SUNY Binghamton because my girlfriend was there. But anyways, I passed the swim qual, and I kind of showed off during boot camp. So I think that's why I wound up in recon.
Recon. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you.
Because I was a swimmer, right.
I'm going to elaborate what he just said. A reconnaissance Marine is one of the baddest dudes around, okay? So how did they let you go for not carrying that rifle with a hoorah?
Let me tell you.
to playing some music.
Let me tell you how this happened. So I was there. I was in the Camp Lejeune, and I always carried my horn around because I was a music major in college, and I still played. I like to jam and jam sessions and things like that. So I went out in town in Jacksonville.
Yes.
And it was this band out there. These brothers that were playing Kool The Gang and all kind of Marvin Gaye tunes.
Can't get enough of that funky stuff. There you go.
I asked to sit in.
Oh.
And I sat in, and they said, "Oh man, bro, why you ain't in the band? You good, man. Hey, you need to come on there with us, man. You know."
Yeah.
And we got this black band officer down there. One of the first. Yeah. So I went over there and a week or so later and auditioned. They said, "Come on down there and audition." So I auditioned. I went down and I met the first black band officer in the Marine Corps, Lieutenant Mosley.
Wow.
That's right.
I heard of him.
I think Charles probably talked about him too.
Yeah, Charles was part of that. Everyone, I want you to understand, in those days, not very few black Marines got into the music field. There was some things that we didn't talk about that. But anyway, Charles is one of the first two to go in there.
Right.
Charles became a band leader. And at El Toro.
He sure did. And I had heard of a Charles. I was never stationed with him, but I heard a lot about him. But anyways, in those days, specialty bandsmen were OJT'd from different military occupational specialists. You weren't guaranteed the band. They came from all different motor T, recon, cooks. Yeah. You had to audition. It wasn't guaranteed. Nowadays, it's guaranteed. You can enlist in the Marine Corps and be promised that.
And the reason why you got selected because why? He practiced.
Right.
He practiced. And he kept in tune with his chore, with his Marine Corps activity. First of all, when you play an instrument on the side, they don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about you as what your major duties are.
Right.
And you got to do that plus practice, right?
Right. So I went over there and I auditioned. They asked me to play some scales, and then they asked me to play something by heart. Something that I knew. So I played Misty, and it was on alto sax.
How about that?
And they said, just take a while, I said, well, I might be going to Vietnam here, a little bit here. But anyways, about a week later, I got orders to go to the band field.
Oh. So
it saved me.
You achieved your goal.
It wasn't my time.
That's right.
It wasn't time for me to go.
That's what I'm talking
about. I got in the band field, and I met a lot of people, a lot of good musicians, people from that were from different MOSs.
Isn't that funny how you meet people when you pick up your instrument, from the guitar to the saxophone to whatever it is, and that it's like a wave of, it's a link, and the people are drawn in, and we start talking to each other. Let me say it again. When we play, we're talking to each other, and somebody will stop and listen when he plays his saxophone. I played with him many times. They would do stop and listen. So this is what I'm talking about in life. That's what it's about. Now, you met a lot of people from all over the United States and different,
right.
and then you would never probably talk to those people if it wasn't for you.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's that's true.
Yeah, so I looked out, and, and then from there, I went to School of Music. I got stationed. First I got stationed at Quantico with one of the best Marine bands in the.
That's a high bar.
At Quantico, the show band there. I was in that show band. I had some pictures. I'm going to show you.
Next segment.
So and then it was from there on. It was. I spent the next 10 years. Playing music.
Okay, now
I was a drum major too, also. Yeah.
Drum major. Now, explain when you're a drum major, that means you are in
the
charge
Marine band. Yeah, I have some pictures.
Your ensemble, right?
Yeah.
And you have a quartet, or how many people in that detail, right? It's called a detail.
Right. Yeah.
And you may have to play for
dignitaries,
whatever the base has ceremonial things, and as a sergeant, you were in charge of that group, and that's a lot.
Yeah, I was assistant drum major because the staff and NCOs were the major drum majors, right? So
but it started from being able to play, and to play is lots of practice. He did it. Now I'm gonna move it up a little bit here. John Bowman, to this very day, is still playing. Oh yeah, he's still playing. He also plays for playhouses and.
Oh yeah, I've done some theater. Did some work. I played. I played 8 Misbehavin'. I was one of the orchestra for the show 8 Misbehavin'. The Fats Waller show for the Escondido Center for the Arts. I played clarinet and sax with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
but now I'm going to talk about John Bowman. When I met John Bowman in Okinawa. Okinawa, Japan is a little small island. In fact, there's a picture of it over here. But basically, the island has all 4 branches of service, and a lot of those guys, military guys, all get together and play. We used to play at the USOs or any recreation places and form bands. So it just so happens that when I was stationed at El Toro, there was a Sunday jam session. When we say jam session, that means you play by improvising, right?
Right.
So you don't ever know what's going to happen. So here we are at a place called Kadena Air Force Base, where we had a civilian keyboard player by name, I'm going to call his name, Freddie Gaschetti. Freddie Gaschetti played Hammond organ like Jimmy Reed. Jimmy Smith. And all the local musicians comprised of local island people to military guys that played. We had some of the great Filipino musicians and Japanese musicians sitting in with us every Sunday. That is the best training you can get when you can pick up your instrument and just jam and listen. Now, and by the way, and on Sunday, we dressed like that was the last day of our life, right? We dressed it clean with not like this. And it was fun, and that's where I met John at.
So we met,
and I also had a little band over there it was called Zap Jazz at that time.
That's it.
Yes, but I had the banner here, but took away. Well, and it comprised of all four branches of service. And after that, I kept track of John, and then I lost John after I rotated back to the States. Well, who was your buddy that played trumpet with you?
Neil McKenzie? Was it?
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
But I remember I kept track of him. But I think you must have rotated for that.
I met you. I got in touch with you through Vince.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay,
I met this bass player.
Vince watching probably listen. Let me tell you what that means. we're going down memory lane. When we were in Okinawa, we moved back when we got our orders to go back to the States. Actually, I retired out of the Corps at that time. I met a Navy commander by the name of Vince Washington, and he played bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing in a place like like the Blues Brothers thing, like it was with chicken wire type thing, and they throw stuff at you. And I was playing rock and roll. And Vince sat in with me, and I kept track of it. So anyway, to cut a long story short, in the musician world, it's like a link. We constantly, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So I lost track of John for about, 10 years?
Yeah, I was.
10 years, and then so we're bringing it up to the time in the 90s and 80s, 90s to 2000. Then I ran into John. This time I ran into John in 2016. No,
I don't remember when
but it was. You've been with me now. How many years? It
was in Carmelo's the first time I ran into you.
Carmelo. Okay, let's go back. Yeah. Anyway, so I met John again, but I just want to say I'm not trying to put too much in your mind, but the fact that we are family. When God gave us the ability and the talent, He spread it all around. He put it on a big piece of bread, and that talent was spread out to all walks of life. And as we go in lifetime, we kind of remember who we played with, and say, who was that person I played with? I can't think of his name. Somewhere down the line, by the time you get to the end of your sheet music, you'll find that person. So it's my thing I want to say today. Reminiscing. I am reminiscing. Reminiscing of how and why or what. But it all come together from us keeping in tune in life. Family. You have to keep your family together. Your family, your friends, and by the way, if you haven't called them in a long time or you ain't been make sure you check on them. Anyway, John and I now play in my band, which is Denny T and the Party at 3 and Denny T, the Soul Patrol. And we're going to get into that later on. We might even play a tune later on. John, you feel like playing later on? Yeah, we don't have anything to drink today, so we'll see. But anyway, when we come back, we might do a little tune. But anyway, like I say, I'm so glad to have John here today because once again, I'm remembering and going back in time of our fellowship, our family, and getting together like we always do. So with that, I want to say, wait. What'd you say? You got to make a emergency head call. Okay. He wants to make a head call. That means he got to go to the bathroom. Okay. So okay. Anyway, once again, keep it in tune. KF&JF, Denny T. I'll be right back.
Hey, it's Brent with Wine Tours. Come out and join us 7 days a week. We got the best wine tour in town. All your tastings are covered. 17, 18 tastings, all of them are free. You get a driver, you get a guide, the best time in town. So come on out and join us today.
Welcome back. With this in mind, I like to say,
welcome back.
Oh,
This is where we've been.
oh yeah,
talking
okay,
to-
okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
You got it. Ready? And 3, 2.
Welcome back, and we have John Bowman, my guest, and I want to elaborate on the fact that this time of the year, Father's Day and Juneteenth have a lot in common, because recognizing our heroes and mentors. In fact, John, we talked about Charles Butler. Go ahead.
Yeah. Charles is a legend in the Marine Corps and in the Marine band field. I never was stationed with him, but had heard of him and heard of his talent and his leadership. So that is, it's carrying on through history. So I mentioned his name to several other musicians in the band field, and they said they had heard of him also. Okay, and so that's the kind of thing we want to keep in mind. The musicians and the Marines that were before us.
That's right.
Okay, and we want to carry on the.
It paved the way for us.
Paved the way there. They paved the way for us in the Marine band field.
And you know what? Not only is Charles a legend in the band field, Charles a legend in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said before, Charles was in my life many, many years, from the time I met him in the Corps to when we worked in the school district in the education field. And all his employees and friends, once they had met Charles, and Charles always was there for them, they know what I'm talking about. So with that, I'd like to say, Father's Day is someone like Charles. Some of us had lost our fathers, my father passed away years ago. Charles became my father. And in life, you're going to find someone that is close to being like your father. I found mine from keeping in tune, playing music, meeting great friends like John Bowman. It all started from Charles. Charles Butler. We had a side thing going on with bands all our lives, from time in the Corps to when he was in charge of the school district for the maintenance and operations. But we always kept in touch, and we always looked out for each other. And you'll get that when you're keeping in tune. Life is keeping in tune. My name is Denny T, and this is KF&JF Podcasts. Remember, keeping in tune.